can't do that before. Anyway, welcome, guys. I guess I'll introduce it. I love Delancey.
Oh yeah, we
Okay,
didn't talk about that. Yeah,
this
you're doing it, by the way.
this is this is one we honestly have pushed off talking about. It's been on our radar for quite a few months, and it's just something that we know is going to be hard and uncomfortable. So I told her, should we do it? She's like, let's just do it. And so she hyped herself up with it by dancing before we hit record. And I love it.
I
So,
did. I did.
what we're going to
I
talk about
had to.
today is there are people out there. I don't know if I've seen it other than adoptees, if I'm going to be honest, that say adoption is human trafficking. It's a pretty heavy topic.
Yeah.
So, the things that I have seen is I should really find the post that like I saw that sparked it, but I should have saved it. Anyway, people just think it's human trafficking because I mean, if in a sense, if you look at, I mean, they like to look at it as adoption's transactional because money is provided to have all these things, but people also leave out there's so much that has to go through in order for people to adopt. Yes, there is going to be money involved because whether it's paying for bills for the birth mom, or I mean, if you go through a lawyer and agency, there's going to be fees because they have to do paperwork, but that does not make it
Mm-hmm.
like human trafficking. Like, that's
Mm-mm.
just so crazy to me that people want to slap that label on adoption. And I'm not saying that there aren't instances that there may be, but overall, as a whole, it is not
Oh,
human trafficking at all. Like, it is not. What are your thoughts on it?
um,
I'm gonna see if I
my
can find that post while you're
thoughts,
talking.
my thoughts are like pretty synonymous with yours. Like it's just not. I don't know. It goes back to making blanket statements, like you said. I mean, I'm sure there are instances where it could probably can be considered that, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's always going to be, um, I guess, like the dark web and black market and things like that where this could happen. But I don't know. I don't think holistically that's what it is. And I think it's really, it goes back to the danger of using blanket statements. I think it's really dangerous to say that all adoption is human trafficking because that just, it's not truthful. You know what I mean? Like it's not what it is. And I was while you were talking, I was looking up the definition of human trafficking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What's
Um
that? Read that.
so it says like my eyeballs are really itchy right now for some reason. Um Human trafficking is the recruitment, transportation, transfer, harboring, or receipt of people through force, fraud, or deception with the aim of exploiting them for profit. I just
I can honestly say
I
I have
can
never been one of those.
I haven't either, and it's one of those things where like I'm looking at it and I'm trying to see it through the eyes of like the ones that are truly like bothered and upset and everything. I can kind of see how they could, for lack of a better term, manipulate this definition to fit their narrative.
Yeah.
I can see this. I can understand how you can cherry pick words out of there to
Yeah.
fit what you wanted to say. But holistically, this is not what adoption is. You know, holistically, I don't think majority like the grand scheme of things with the adoption that people go into it trying to, you know, lie to birth parents and adoptive parents and defraud them. And I mean, have there been instances of that? Yes. Have we had them on this show? Yes. We've had people like adoptive parents that have, you know, been have gone through that and experienced that. I cannot remember the episode right off the top of my head, but I know for a fact that there was actually we've had two. Now I think about it, we've had two instances. three episodes, if you really think about it. One was the same story. Donald was lied to by the birth mom so that she could place
Yes.
her there, so she could place their child for adoption.
Right.
Sarah was lied to so that she could adopt their child, and she was not under the full understanding of what was happening. However, it just it still doesn't make it human trafficking. It makes it fraud.
Right. Right.
So I don't know. I think it's a scare tactic, not a scare tactic, a shock value term to be used.
No, I
Again,
agree 100%.
not holistically, not all of them, but
Right. Right.
the ones that I've
Yeah.
seen on TikTok, I'm just going, please stop.
No,
Please stop, rewriting the definition of the English of words in the English language that have been around for a lot longer than they've been alive. So,
it's so true. This kind
mhm.
of, okay, this popped up when I did adoption human trafficking just on Instagram. Kristen Chenoweth. Okay. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it because that's
Who?
Kristen Chenoweth right there. Chenoweth?
Oh,
Chenoweth?
wait. Yeah,
Yeah.
She was on Glee and in Broadway and all those
Chenoweth.
things.
My bad, I said it wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen to this though, you're gonna like it. I encourage other adoptees to remember what blessed lives we have. We weren't abandoned. We were chosen. We were given a chance. This to us is what adoption is. It is not trafficking. It is not where some people like to think it's transactional. And I like that Delancey read the definition of it because it doesn't fit our stories. We're not saying that it doesn't mean that it doesn't pertain to other
Mhm.
stories. You will always
Yeah.
hear us say that. You will always hear us say that about every single episode we talk about. Like we can understand why they may feel this or, things actually do happen this way. But I think one of the
Mhm.
biggest things why people think it is so much trafficking as well, like kind of to piggyback off of Delancey, is the money
Mhm.
factor.
Yeah.
People like to focus so much on that, like adoption is this multi-billion-dollar thing. And it's like, okay, then what are you doing to go out there to not make it like that? If you had a friend
Mhm.
who has a daughter, you're gonna, put them through an agency, run all that kind of stuff. 30, 40, $50,000 later, somebody's gonna, be able to adopt a child. How do we cut that
Mhm.
shit out so it's not like
Yeah.
that? You know what I mean? Like, I know for a fact when I was adopted, they cut all that out. And my parents didn't have to, sounds so weird, pay as much, to get to have the process for having me come to them is a good way to say that instead of saying paying to get me. Like
You
it
were
just, they cut
discounted?
all of it. I was discounted because I was that good. I love that. I've never heard that. No, but seriously though, like people focus on the worst parts of it of like,
Mhm.
well, they're displaced, so they were trafficked because they're not with preservation, family preservation. But like, look what she just said. It's like family preservation isn't always the best thing. And people would look
Mhm.
at my story. My story is one of them. They'd be like, oh, see, if you stayed, la, 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 because look how close you are with your birth
Oh.
family now. No, that is not the case because I haven't disclosed everything on here about
Mhm.
my siblings' upbringing with my birth mom and my birth mom, stuff like that. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
I'm grateful I was raised by a mom and a dad and
Mhm.
had the upbringing I had. Like, don't discount me because I have a good experience with my birth family now. It doesn't mean that I'd go back and like change everything like a lot of these
Mhm.
adoptees do because they're trying to work through hard shit that they're like have never experienced. But I don't like that people say adoption is human trafficking. Like, no, absolutely no.
It's not it's like the concept and the idea of it is just not, that's not what it is. Human trafficking is human trafficking, and then there's adoption. Like human
Yes.
trafficking is that definition that I read. Period. Stop.
Yeah.
Space. Adoption is adoption.
Yes.
Period. Stop. Space. Like they're not the same thing. Like
No.
I don't understand why we just eliminated the punctuation between those two sentences and made them a run-on sentence. Like that's just not what it
Exactly.
is. It doesn't
No.
make it. It makes zero sense. And like you said, just because You haven't disclosed everything. You don't have to. We always talk about that. Ever since Shelby said, and I think we reference this at least once every couple of episodes. Ever since Shelby said, like, we don't have to tell you everything because it's not your business. Like, we don't
Yeah,
have to.
it's not your business. Yeah.
It's not your business. Like, it's just not. But even with all that being said, because you have the opinion that you have, I guarantee you a lot of people will try to discount you and be like, no, you just don't know what you're talking about. No,
Right.
you're living in the fog. You're living
Yeah.
with toxic positivity. You're doing all this stuff and the other. You're invalidating my feelings because of how I feel about adoption. Yeah, but how you feel about adoption is what you're telling people in your lives or they're telling people on your Instagram posts. What are you telling people in your daily life? Like, I'm always curious if they truly do spout this stuff off in their daily lives.
Right. No, it's so true.
Because if they do, how do they have friends?
Yeah. 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 No, I agree. I agree with you
You know,
100%.
how? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, it just like this kind of stuff doesn't apply to us. It doesn't apply. Maybe it applies to somebody out there that's listening. And if it does, I am so sorry you've had that experience. That sucks. There's no other way
Yeah.
to put that. That
Right.
sucks.
Yeah.
But the beauty of the hard stuff is we appreciate the good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
No,
I think we would be very hard pressed to find somebody that, truly went through being trafficked so
right.
they could be adopted. I
Right.
think I think more people think maybe international adoption is more
I would
human
have to agree with you.
trafficking.
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree with you on people thinking that. Yes. Yes. Because
Because
it's like there's things I've read, like even in like the states and stuff, like mothers have to go across a different like state
hmm
line to have different rules set. And so how is that
hmm
when they're like they were trying to negate that is trafficking, like, well, a mom has to go to a different state to sign papers to get the process faster. And it's like, who are you to decide what the birth mom wants to do? If the birth mom wants to go to a different state because that's where the couple lives and it's a different timeline of you have to wait 6 months, you have to wait 3 months for the adoption to be finalized. Who is it for your business to say what the birth mom wants to do? And I
oh, it's
guarantee
it.
you, like most of these adoptive parents that we know that are level headed
hmm
know that if something arises to where the birth family wants to take the child back, they're not going to fight them tooth and nail for that baby because
Right.
they all understand that's that birth mother's decision. They may be
hmm
like, the baby, it's going back into an environment where they're
hmm
kind of sad and disheartened for that child. But anybody can be sad and disheartened for any environment any child's
hmm
in, not just adopted, adoption or not.
hmm
But it's like, it just drives me crazy because if people were to really take the time to sit down with adoptive parents that actually care and actually want to be
hmm
parents and actually have a good intent in their heart, this is not the reason why they're adopting, is to traffic, to
mm
like have it transactional and be like, look at this. No,
So
if
weird.
anything, you hear how much bullshit it is, how much people have to pay. You know what I mean? To
hmm
adopt. Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting too because people will raise Cain about a birth parent traveling to a different state or adoptive parent traveling to a different state to grow their family.
Yeah.
I just don't remember seeing people. Well, no, they kind of did when it went from federal to state regulated,
Uh-huh.
but and this is I'm skipping thoughts without saying exactly what my thought is just yet. But there was such an uproar when a certain thing went from federal to state regulated, and then when it became state regulated and the states made their own mandates, certain states that had different um guidelines than other states were like shouting from the rooftops, come here, come here, come here, you can come here. And that wasn't a problem
Right.
to go from state to state to
Ooh.
have an abortion. That's not a problem, but it's a problem to go state to state to do adoption. Someone make that make sense to me.
Oh, I love you. I love that you brought that up because that is 100 on that. I'm not even kidding you. Thank you for bringing that up
Like,
because I agree. I agree.
because if somebody says they're truly pro-choice and it's a woman's right to choose, like a
Yeah.
lot of these anti-adoption people are, I've
Yep.
noticed,
Yep.
then why aren't we respecting that right to choose
Yep.
the adoption in a different state or a different country or whatever? Why are we not respecting that? Like we
Yeah.
we are hell bent to stop them from that, but we're not hell bent to stop them from the, I don't, that doesn't make sense to me.
Amen, Delancey.
Like,
Amen. I'm glad you brought that up because it's 100% true. I swear, everything, it's like it can be this way, but it can't be that way. But it's like,
mm-hmm,
why? When it's like the same thing, but
that part.
flipped. Like, you know what I
Mm-hmm,
mean? And I
mm-hmm.
think this is, oh no, sorry, go ahead.
No, no, you're fine. I was just it's no, I was moving something and I just
No, you're
made it. Don't ask me why I made a noise. I have no clue. Keep
no, you're
going.
good. I like how you brought up how people may think with international adoption and now me being actually out of the
Mm-hmm.
country and going to the country that I am from. I'm not saying that I wouldn't have, and I've prefaced this, my life wouldn't have been bad. That's not what I'm saying. Things would have been different. But for people to be like, oh, they just my husband can attest to this too. Unless you have traveled all over the world and seen how different countries are and seen
Mm-hmm.
how different things are, everybody's eyes are on America. America is the golden
Mm-hmm.
ticket.
Yep.
We, like, I think we've talked about before, our government may be on fire right now, but there's no other place I'd rather live. There's
Yeah.
not.
Agreed.
Seeing and hearing and things. And so these babies that are international
Mm-hmm.
adoptees, they are coming from crazy backgrounds. They are coming from a lot of poverty. They are coming from different things. And these birth moms in the time are thinking, this is the best thing I can do for my child. And it goes back to what Delancey said a couple, ooh, I forgot what episode it was, but it's like, who gives the right for other people to choose what that birth mom wants to do? And Delancey said that. It was like, nobody can do that. Like, you did because
I
it was like a clip of
did.
a highlight.
Oh, that's
And it
right.
was,
I did. Okay,
yeah,
now I remember.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
It was,
Took me a
you
second.
did. And I love that because it's true. And people think, not just with adoption, that they need to be opinionated in other people's business that they do not know a damn thing about because they see a blip. Like, that's just,
Mm-hmm. It's
so I
like
don't get it.
they see like a 30-second video of why it's fantastic or a 30-second video of why it's not fantastic and they decide it's
Right,
law and it's just going,
right,
please do some research. Like you can
right.
have your opinions. Like there's nothing wrong with somebody having an opinion about something.
Agreed.
It's wrong to go, yes, this TikTok influencer, Instagram influencer, they are the end all be all of my opinion of X, Y, and Z.
Yep.
And I just want to look at people and go, why?
Yeah,
You don't know them. You don't know them, A, and you don't know what they're like when they turn off the camera. Because
exactly.
I think about it. I literally said this about somebody the other day. There is a TikTok influencer that lives here in Mississippi.
Yeah,
Like famous on
yeah,
TikTok,
yeah.
like famous on Instagram. Very stunning individual, very stunning. But, and this is
Oh,
why
it's
I'm so like hesitant about um people sometimes like influencers and what they think, because now I look at this particular individual and the individual that they are on social media that is raking in the money from being an influencer, and who that individual is in real life are polar opposites.
yeah,
Like it's absolutely mind blowing how polar opposite they actually are. And I would just always want to look at it and just anytime I see an influencer that is like so extreme one way or the other, it doesn't matter to me what way you're extreme on. I don't care.
right.
Whatever. But I wonder if you're really like that. Like, are you
Yeah,
genuinely like that all the time?
right.
The ones that are more like people that are more like you and I are, that like address all sides and everything. I'm
Yeah,
like, okay, you're a normal human being.
right,
I
right, right,
got
right.
you.
Yeah,
But these like anti-adoptee ones that go on like all these tangents and then they get like their little army behind them.
yeah, yeah. I agree. No, I
Like,
wholeheartedly agree.
come
Yeah.
on.
No, I
Just
agree.
like
No.
like you said, a little
Yeah.
blip. You're making a
Yeah.
decision based off a little blip, and you're telling people what they should or should not do in their life because of a little blip of what you see and a little blip of what another influencer told you how you should think. That's scary
Exactly.
in general. Like you should never think a certain way just because somebody tells you to.
Agreed. Yeah, I agree. I just I, I don't understand why people think it is. And like I said, Delancey read the definition. And if you didn't
Mhm.
hear it the first time, go back and Google it because to me, it is nothing. For my
Mm-mm.
adoption story, I can personally
Not
say
either.
I've experienced none of that, what the
Mm-mm.
definition was. And I'm not saying that it isn't, but like Delancey said, you can't blanket it and say adoption is human trafficking because no, not all of it is. And then
Mm-mm.
people, my favorite is people that like make these posts and they're like, if you're an adoptee reading this and you don't think like that, then you're just brainwashed because like you're like looking and it's like, no, I can see
You're
your
part of
side
the
too.
problem. You're part
Yeah.
of the problem. I love that. When I get told I'm part of the problem, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Like, sorry, I have a belief in God and I have a better outlook on life than you do. I don't want to send anger and
Part.
hate. You know?
That part.
Yeah.
Well, and it's, I'm tired of people apologizing to me too. Have you gotten that a lot lately?
For,
Just here in the last few weeks, I think maybe a few weeks to maybe last month, something like that. I've had
uh-huh.
a few people that I've met, like it'll come up that I'm adopted and immediately feel like, oh my gosh, I know what a blessing it could possibly be, but any and all trauma that you've experienced, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry for the hard parts. I'm so sorry. And I'm like, whoa,
You kidding me?
doesn't and the funny thing is like they're genuinely trying to be like good intentioned and like well
Yeah.
intentioned. And I feel
Yeah.
that and I get it. So like I catch myself from being like, huh, or like, and I'm going, no, I hear you. Yeah, I'm good. Like, and I've even said something, I think one time I even said something to the effect of, um, my story is a blessing. I can't speak for all of them. And I said, but I just don't subscribe to this,
Right.
blanket statement that adoption is
Yeah.
trauma. And I said, because ironically enough, my trauma didn't come into play until I met my biologicals. So
Yeah. Right.
my adoption was the blessing if
Yeah.
we want to get down to it. And
No.
even then looking back on it, because we're coming up almost on a year from when I, walked away from all that stuff.
Wow.
Even
Has it been
then,
that long?
I know.
Wow.
That's what someone else has said that too.
Oh
It
my
was actually my sister.
goodness.
My sister goes, I cannot believe it's almost been a year. December will be a
I
year.
yeah, wow. It's nope, it's true because I remember you
It's
texting
true.
me. I remember
Remember
that.
me texting
Yep.
you and like
Mm-hmm. Yep,
how
I
bad it
do.
was?
Sorry, I got you
Even
off
then,
track.
yes. Sorry, guys. We have our own conversations outside of this, but I would even call that trauma because you know how they love to say human trafficking and trauma, always human trafficking and trauma. I wouldn't even call that trauma. I would call that a learning experience.
Yeah,
And, it was a storm that I had to go through so that I could get through it.
right.
Not everything with adoption I mean, is there trauma? Absolutely. Is everything
Yeah.
trauma? No.
No. Yeah.
It's just like saying adoption is human trafficking. You can't just take a shock value phrase or term and throw it in adoption so that
Right.
you can get, for whatever reason. Does it happen? Probably.
Yeah.
More than likely.
Right.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Is it all of them? No. Just but I've noticed that here recently, and I think it has to do with I think it has to do with the um like we've talked about, the human trafficking has started picking up again. Um, Adoption
Oh.
trauma has started picking up again on TikTok. I've noticed
Oh.
that. I've noticed it, and
Interesting.
I wasn't really paying attention to it because I've kind of like I
Yeah.
guess steered away from some of it with my
Yeah.
algorithm. Thank you, algorithm, for looking out for me. But I've noticed I've had with these, handful of people I've met over the last few weeks, their response is always the same. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, why are you apologizing? Like, you didn't do anything. I just met you. Like, I just
Yeah.
met you. You didn't do anything to me. Well, I'm
Wow.
so sorry for what you've been through. What have I been through?
Yeah.
like
Tell me,
have I
tell
been
me,
through
Rhonda.
tell me what I've been through. Like and
Yeah.
respectfully, I know I've been through some stuff, but none of it had to do with me being adopted.
Amen. Amen to that shit right there.
Yeah.
Ew. That's gonna be the quote for this episode. I'm not even kidding you because it's 100% true. I love it. It makes me giggle when I go back and watch these because I'm always like, and then I usually pull it and text it to her. Hey, choose a quote. Okay, okay.
Yeah. If y'all only saw like the text message conversation, because normally whenever Milena texts me about stuff like that, like I'm in the middle of doing something at work, which I feel like I'm always in the middle of doing something at work now, like always in the middle of something.
Busy, busy. Yeah.
And and I have to look at it and I'll read the quotes and I will not remember who said what. I will never remember.
I try and take from both of us, but I'm not gonna lie, Delancey's got some fire. Like there's things I'm like, oh, I forgot she said that. That was good. No wonder I was like, oh my gosh, that's a
I clearly forget I say a lot of things because when you said, yeah, Delancey said past episodes, or a few episodes back, and I'm like, I did.
no.
Like, yeah, and I had to think about it. I was like, oh yeah, yeah, I
Oh
did.
yeah, I
Okay,
did. I
got it.
did.
I did. I did.
Yeah,
It's
no. Oh,
I don't know.
that'll
I
actually
did.
be quite a few episodes back after this one launches because we've got so many because we are so bomb diggity. No, I'm not even
And
kidding you.
it's well, and the thing is, I love that we're so intentional with this because
No, I
I
agree.
almost, even though we kind of fly by the seat of our pants a little bit, we're still intentional.
Oh, 100%. And like the best thing about it is like we have some big weeks coming up to where we can't see each other. And the
Hmm.
work we've put in, it's not even gonna like make a dent or stress us out not getting together. The only
Oh
thing that
God, that's
sucks
the
is we
best
won't see
part.
each other.
That
But like
part,
but
man,
it's good for this
that
because then
part.
we can be like, okay, we're okay. We can get this done.
Hmm.
Anyway, welcome to our show to where we like to take lots of squirrel moments. Let's go back to
Right.
our topic. Anyway, do you
Our,
have anything really else to? I feel like it's pretty cut and dry on this one. It's like, no, it's not. We understand what people have to say, but for our stories, it's not that way. And we're not taking away from stories that truly are, that truly, truly are.
what Milena said.
No, no. But seriously, this is one we put off, but I think
I
for
think 'cause
me,
it's
it
just
wasn't as scary.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, it wasn't as scary. I mean, we still had to talk about some hard things because it's like trafficking happens and we know that.
Yeah.
But trafficking that I'm aware of is not adoption related.
Mm-mm.
You know what I
The
mean?
See, that's the thing. It's like when you, I almost feel like when you take human trafficking, you put it with adoption, you're robbing, not even robbing, you're diminishing the stories of those who have gone through actual human trafficking, sex trafficking, like the amount of the amount of kids and young women and young men, men get
Right.
sex trafficked too. Let's
It's
just be
true.
honest about that. I
No,
mean,
it's true.
anyone can be sex trafficked
Yep.
with, men, women, kids, teenagers. And I think that my personal feeling is that what it comes down to is when you call adoption human trafficking is not taking a child to a family it's not a couple waiting for a child to build their family and grow their family and to create these memories and to have Christmas and to have Easter and to Mother's Day and Father's Day and birthdays and graduations and weddings. That's what I truly believe people who adopt are trying to grow their family so they can do all of those things. They can love a child and they can do all of these things. That is not the intention of human trafficking at
Agreed.
all. I'm
Amen.
like pretty positive that none of those things I just listed have anything to do with it
Agreed.
at all. And I'm not going to list the things that it has to do with because ick. But when people take the term human trafficking and they throw it on adoption, they are diminishing the stories of the survivors and the people who are fighting to end human trafficking and the people who are
Yep.
fighting to end sex trafficking.
Yep.
You know, is law enforcement perfect? No. Is the government
Right.
perfect? No. Is the law perfect? No.
Right.
but everyone I think that is working diligently to try to end human trafficking is doing the best that they can with what they've got. And when you take it and you throw it onto adoption, you are complete. It's almost like you're spitting in their face in a
Yeah,
way, and you're making a mockery of what they're doing.
it's true.
And, sorry if that was a little intense, but in fairness, I was watching a football game before I came on here, so I'm a little fired up
Mic
anyway.
drop. I don't have a mic to drop, but mic drop. That's like a
Boom.
good note to end that on because I'm not even kidding you. I
Yeah.
love what you had to say about all of that because it's so true. There was something I forgot. Oh, I was gonna say you gave me an idea for a topic in all your talking. I was like, oh, I gotta say that. I'll talk to you about it after. But it
notice
was
how
good.
notice how she finally admits that I talk too much because she said it in all your
No,
talking.
no,
All of y'all are my witnesses. Yes, she finally admits it because
no,
I know it.
whatever.
So
No, I don't know. I love it. I love doing this with you, and you know that. Like
I
seriously,
know
my
I love doing
favorite
it with you
is
too.
like seriously, it's the best thing ever. So,
Mm-hmm.
anything else you want to share on that?
No.
Okay. Okay. Well, guys, these ones are like little and quick, which I like though, because I feel like the shorter ones we get straight to the point, which is my
Mm-hmm.
favorite. So, anyway, all right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us. Delancey's going to intro the next one. And yeah,
Why?
because
I'm
you're good at it too, not just me.
not.
All right, guys.
I'm not.
Thanks for listening, and we will catch you next time.